And back at the starting line is Bob Glidden here in the Tower Lane, the world champion who very likely will be, in the near lane rather, who very likely will be dethroned. And he may be beaten here right now, but nope, there is a red light for the car in the far lane. Andy Manarino has red lighted, so forget the win light and the image you just saw, because the winner is here in the Tower Lane, Bob Glidden, and that will set up another Glidden-Shepherd confrontation, and that has been the magic battle all year long. And listen to this. Low elapsed time and top speed of the entire event for Bob Glidden, 8:32, 160 miles an hour. Pro Comp is the category, and again, it's the semifinals. 4 cars remaining of the 16 that qualified out of some 50 that were entered here at the Fall Nationals, NHRA style. And here's a couple of drivers that are delighted to even get this far. A lot of folks figured especially that Don Clark in the far lane would not even qualify, but here he is in the semis, and he's up against Jerry Goddard. Goddard here in the near lane, the Mr. Rags car, you see. And Goddard posted his career best in the previous round at 6.62 seconds. Clark with a 6.79, so there's some 1700ths of a second apart. You can look for Clark in the far lane to gamble on the Christmas tree a bit, kind of close his eyes and roll the dice, because it may take a whole shot to get by Jerry Goddard. If Goddard's engine stays together, that's the way we see it here in the announce booth. Goddard looks like a heavy favorite if he leaves on time and keep it all together. Pre-staged. The top lights indicating they're within staging proximity. They inch forward. The second yellow lights in each lane means stop right there. You're on the starting line. Goddard's in. Clark's in. And it is Clark. He got the whole shot. Goddard better have some horsepower. Can Goddard catch him? Not. The biggest upset in Pro Comp history, possibly, as Don Clark, with an old antique cast iron 392 Chrysler engine, goes into the final of Pro Comp. Let's go back and see just how he did it. Look at the whole shot. We said he'd need one, and I think he did that. Just closed his eyes and rolled a 7. Coming out is Don Clark. A 681 for Goddard here in the Tower Lane is defeated by a slower 6.84. So even though he ran quicker, he snoozed a little bit on the line, and that's all it took for Clark at 684, 191. Here is the king of Pro Comp, Billy Williams. Williams and Kasanjian, the world champion from 1979, won some 6 national events. He is up against the toughest Pro Comp car anywhere in the Northwest region, Joey Severance of Prineville, Oregon. Huge tires. No one ever thought an alcohol car would take this much tire. But year after year, they make more and more horsepower. Dramatically different approaches in the engine department. You're looking at a Rodeck over in the far lane, as we explained earlier, kind of like a Chevrolet, except Chevrolet component. But it's engine made strictly for drag racing, both car and boat. In the Tower Lane is the potent dominant of Billy Williams. Williams, about 5'5", very likable guy, and one of the few that has managed to make a living in the Pro Comp category. And to do that, you have to get a lot of wind lights. Billy Williams going up against a former customer of his. It was Williams and Todd Severance, and another hole shot. This time it goes to Joey Severance, but a look back at the Christmas tree shows us a red light. Severance tried the same gamble, but he got snake eyes. And well that he should try, because Williams ran an outstanding 6.61 at 204 to a losing 669 for Joey Severance at 203. So going into the final round, it will be the dark horse.
This is going to be a little anticlimactic for you. You clinched your 2nd consecutive world championship. Congratulations, Raymond Beadle.
Thank you, Steve. Well, we tried real hard, and that round there was a real important round to us. That's probably a $50,000 or $75,000 round. So I mean, we had a little more pressure on us. And
I said 45,000. I was light, right?
A little bit.
Walk me through that race. It looked like Billy Meyer was ahead of you. In fact, he was.
Well, we had our car leaving a little soft, you know, just because of the shake. We had it earlier in the week is leaving real hard and it's shaking real hard. So we had the car leaving a little soft, and the car really picked up in the middle and on the top end, which that time we set a new track record running 243. So it was running good on the big end.
And knowing you and the Blue Max crew, you'd like to leave these fans with a 5-second elapsed time in the final.
Well, we kind of lucked out, you know, the second round with McEwen, and we told Ellis we've had about all the luck today. we're going to get.
Dale's your crew chief.
Yeah, so, I mean, if we don't step up now, I mean, we've had all the breaks, and now's the time to perform. So he came through again, and the car ran really good, and hopefully in the final it'll run a little better.
Now, Dale Armstrong has never made a final round in AA Fuel Funny Cars, but certainly no stranger to the winner's circle.
Well, no, Dale runs really good. I mean, he's been another fortunate of the luck deal, but he's also one of those that can step up. I mean, Kenny gave him one the first round, then he came back with Verdone, then broke a throttle linkage after Verdone run all the O's. So, like I said, he's been awful lucky, so we sure don't want to make any mistakes.
Well, you'd much rather race Dale Armstrong than Don Perdome, I think, today anyway.
It's not near as much pressure, I'll put that on.
The Snake looked a little irate when he got back to his truck after a 10-cent part cost him the Fall Nationals.
Yeah, but that's just drag racing. I mean, we've all had that happen, and I mean, like I said, he'd run really good every round, and then finally he'd had all of his good luck early, and other people were breaking, but he was running good, and now at the end, when he really needs some luck, it didn't come with him.
Things appear very calm around your car. The pistons are coming out of the engine just to be looked at. Appears that your guys have got their act together. On the other hand, Dale Armstrong, it is really a zoo over there.
Well, I mean, Dale hurt another motor, I think, and in fact, I understand Billy Myers has loaned him one for the final. But we're checking our car real close again because we don't want to make any mistakes for the final, like I said, because Dale can step up.
Does something like Billy Meyer, a fellow Texan, loaning the guy you've got to race a motor, does that bother you at all? Really?
No, that's part of the racing. I mean, I don't understand why he's doing it, because unless he still thinks he's got a mathematical chance of winning the World Championship, which he doesn't now. I mean, even if he won the race and we didn't qualify and he set a national record, he'd still be some 70 or 90 points shy. So that's part of racing. I mean, everybody loans other people parts.
Well, win or lose in this final round, just clinching the world champion crew stage tonight.
Probably so. We'll be down at the SeaTac again.
We brought our camera to the pit of Dale Armstrong, who is scheduled to meet Raymond Beadle in the funny car final. Dale's not here. The car's not here. The story is a $17,000 racing engine laying here, a dead soldier. On my right, another $17,000 racing engine, absolutely dead. Where's the car? It's back several hundred feet behind us inside Billy Meyer's 18-wheeler, where Meyer and his Texas crew have joined with the Pennsylvania crew to install one of Billy Meyer's spare motors. So all told, what's 17,000 times 3? That's how many parts Dale Armstrong will have gone through just to get to the final round to race one of the quickest funny cars in the world. What they won't do for a win light.
What a backdrop for a final round as Pro Gas comes to line Mount Rainier, one of the most beautiful sights in all the Northwest. And as I said earlier, this is more like a national park than a championship caliber motor racing facility. Here we go with our first final of this Fall Nationals event. The winner here picks up the title and all the cash that goes with it.
Lukowski and Erickson.
It's Lukowski here in the Tower Lane, Erickson in the Corvette. Pro Gas is a new category for the National Hot Rod Association. Even though they race heads up, there is a breakout. They cannot run quicker than 9.90. That is the equalizer to try to keep the costs in hand. It looks like it may be an official category next year, an experimental one this year, and featured here at the Fall Nationals. Dave Lukowski here in the Tower Lane up against the early model vintage Corvette over in the right-hand lane. Now they leave together, but you may see him on the brakes at the far end playing a little chess game down there. And Lukowski with a big lead, but remember he cannot run quicker than 9.90 or he will be disqualified. The timer running, what a race! A dead heat, but the wind light calls it in the right-hand lane, but he breaks out at 9.88. The Corvette got there first, but he is disqualified at 9.88. The winner will be in the Tower Lane at 10.16, 126 miles an hour. Now here's Lukowski, who ultimately will win this race as we look at it again. Lukowski with a big hole shot. And that forced the Corvette to run all out to pull up even with him, and that accounted for him running too quick. But what a finish. Now you see why it's an electronic finish line judge. All right, here's the final in modified eliminator. In the near lane, a loud, snarly little rotary Mazda from Oregon, Terry Hort. In the right-hand lane, most people think the best modified eliminator car in the world today, Dave Hutchins from Fairfield, Illinois. The Opel GT with a small block Chevrolet engine. This is handicapped sportsman racing based on the national indexes. And look at the Opel GT come by. Did he get him? No, he did not. The win goes to the Northwest, the Samurai Warrior Mazda C-modified compact at 1171, 109 to a losing 823, 165. Here comes Hutchison. He appears to be flying by, but not quite in time. There's the finish line, and you see by a headlight rim, it is the Mazda in the Tower Lane. What a final round in modified eliminator. Here's the final round in competition eliminator, another of the sportsman categories. We're just showing you the finals in the far lane as a former world champion in this class. Bobby Cross and Corzine, the team from Texas, in the Tower Lane. Another local driver makes the final. Jimmy Warder with a Sea Factory Experimental Chevy Vega from Fox Island, Washington. A big head start will go to Warder. The difference between the national index and the two classes. Now Bobby Cross sets sail in a much faster dragster. Can he drive around the local Chevy Vega? Here he comes. Did he do it? Yes, he did, says the finish line judge. At 7:49, 175 miles an hour to a losing 9:48, 142. In Superstock and Stock and Modified and Comp, it's all handicapped racing. And here comes the A Econo dragster. And watch this move. At almost 100, in fact, over 175 miles an hour, he just noses out Jim Warder. The engine being started for Billy Williams, the king of Pro Comp, as we go into the final round of this category, which will pit two alcohol-burning dragsters against each other heads up. Williams, the reigning world champion, a prohibitive favorite here against an upstart from Santa Clara, California by the name of Don Clark. And I think Clark himself is still in shock, making it into the final round for the first time ever in a big, important NHRA drag race. There's Clark from Santa Clara. And this is a Chevrolet up against a mighty Hemi of Williams and Kasanjian. Now Clark with a real aggressive burnout. If you'll recall, back in the semi-final round, it was Clark's amazing reflexes off the starting line that put him in this position. He needed a whole shot. He got it. Billy Williams, a veteran driver, one of the few who's been able to make a career out of Pro Comp and sees no reason to go in the more expensive top fueler funny car. And he's doing as well as he is. Along with his partner Cookie Kasanjian from Beverly Hills, California, they have won a lot of drag races, more than anybody else in the past few years in this category. So it's a pro start, a flash of the final yellow light to green, 0.4 of a second for the drivers to react to it. The number one for world champion Billy Williams. There is no year-long points chase in this category. The World Championship is decided as the final race of the year. Coming up in a month or so at Ontario Motor Speedway, the underdog Chevrolet, the giant killer in the far lane, in the near lane, Mr. Consistency, Mr. Pro Comp, Billy Williams. They are pre-staged. Who will move in first? It is Williams, followed by the Chevrolet and Clark, and another giant whole shot fight. Back at the starting line. A red light in the window. Drove around him anyway with one of the better times of the event, a 6.61 at 203 miles an hour. Clark slowing to just 189 miles an hour. As we see it again, Clark tried his patented whole shot, but he moved just a little bit too quick. If you could see the Christmas tree between the two cars, there is a red light glowing in Don Clark's lane. But I think there'll be a celebration among that crew tonight anyway. Their first ever final round in a long, long career. Billy Williams, the Pro Comp Fallnationals champion. Due to the lateness of the hour and the diminishing daylight, it appears that the National Hot Rod Association is running the finals a little out of sequence and going right to top fuel because they are in the lanes and ready. And what a final it should be. Oh. For the ladies, we have the pink car of Shirley Muldowney. And for the gentlemen, soon to be appearing alongside her will be Mr. Marvin Graham of Oklahoma City. And these are just the two most consistent cars of the day, and they've really earned their right here in the final round. For Shirley Muldowney, she started out in round number one with a 5.99, beating a Washington favorite, Mike Palmer. Then in the second round, Shirley met Gary Beck side by side. Beck at that time was leading the World Championship points chase. He no longer does, as Jeb Allen has now inherited that. She disposed of Gary Beck with a 5.93 over Beck's 6.03. Then it was up to the pink car to take on Terry Kapp. She got a gift there as Terry Kapp's motor would not start after a violent blower explosion in the preceding round, and now she has earned the right to face Marvin Graham. Already this year, Graham has run the quickest time we have seen in about 4 years, a 5.68 at the U.S. Nationals, and he's clowning a bit down on the starting line, trying to maybe psych out Shirley a little bit. Now, Marvin Graham qualified, if I can find him here on our sheet, these are very confusing. Marvin Graham qualified with a great 5.88. In the first round, he met Northern California's Dennis Baca. He dropped Baca with another 5.88. Then Marvin came up with low elapsed time of the entire Fall Nationals, a 5.79 at 244 miles an hour, to beat the defending world champion, Rob Bruins from Washington. In the semifinal, it was Graham with a 5.94 to end Jeb Allen's hope of a Fall Nationals victory. And now Graham against Muldowney. Shirley Muldowney suiting up, the racers call it, with a Nomex sock over her pretty hair and face. Shirley was burned quite severely some years back in a funny car, and forsake that breed. She says, I'm too damn pretty to get burned, was her exact word. So into a top field racer where the engine is behind her and far less chance of a fire getting to this woman who has established herself worldwide as the most successful of all women race car drivers. Coming out alongside our top fuel cars as they get ready is the final round in stock eliminator. So let's move over to that if we can.